I'm going to make some of you some co-hosts to be able to help me let some people in or mute people out in case people hop on during the training. Let's see here. All right. Great. Here we go. So welcome, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to see you on here. I am super excited to be able to introduce our guest trainer today. I know he's been doing live dials and being able to really hone in like on a daily basis. I mean, talk about desire and drive. I mean, this guy, practices his script every day by living it large every day. And we've had a lot of conversations, and I love his passion, his heart. I love how he is just truly committed to making it so that he can come home and work full time, much like Layla. Project bring Layla home, project bring Kevin home, right? And I think a lot of us have that desire and that dream to be able to make it and to be able to just be home with our families. But some of you, it may be just the extra money. Some of you are just kind of learning. And I think sometimes we think there's like a secret sauce. There's not necessarily like a secret sauce. There is, but there isn't, right? Part of it is just being coachable, applying the things that are being taught, and then putting that into practice until it becomes comfortable, right? We talk about how being uncomfortable until it becomes comfortable. Yes, talk to people, open your mouth, let people know that you're doing business, let people know what you're doing, right? When you launch your company, when you launch your business and you have a grand opening, don't you like tell people that you're having a grand opening? So that's kind of what like those launch calls are. That's what those launch Zooms are, is being able to tell people that you are open for business, because there is no secret business when you're launching and opening and having a grand opening for your store, your shop, or whatever it is you want to do. But I want to introduce you to Kevin. Kevin's been someone that I have grown to really love as a friend, and as a business partner as well, you guys. Kevin is someone that I feel like is super sharp. He is someone that is just passionate and just really determined, and he wants people to succeed. He wants his team to succeed. Most importantly, he wants all of us to succeed, and that's why he's so willing to just be able to kind of go, hey, this is what I'm doing. And how many of you would love to know like what Kevin is saying on his calls, or getting people to get people to take a look at the information, right? Yeah. Okay, me too, right? And this is how we're going to learn and we're going to grow together. I'll probably bring more people in, because I tell you what, talking to people is really important, but everybody also has like a different way of being able to invite. And it might be the same thing, but how you make it yours and how do you make it your own, right? So Kevin, I'm going to go ahead and have you take over at this point. But Kevin is someone that we've been working with now for, I don't know, Kevin, how long have we been communicating?
Oh boy, for a minute now. Ever since after we came back from convention, and then a couple of months passed, and then off and on. I mean, now it's like daily. So
Yeah. Yeah. And so I would love to bring on more trainers as we go along as well, because there's going to be different people who have a certain skill set they are practicing on a daily basis. And so I want to make sure we bring them on. And so today I have the honor of bringing over Kevin Williams. He has been crushing it in this business, and he has been getting people on Zooms and sharing this information. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the mic over to Mr. Kevin Williams. Take it away, sir.
thank you so much, Emily. I appreciate that warm and heartfelt invitation to do this. And same likewise. Much respect to you, what you're doing as well. Is everybody all right with seeing my screen correctly? Because I don't want the video hiding what my screen is looking at. Does everybody see where it says inviting, the inviting formula? Can those words be seen correctly?
You got a little
So let me do this.
bar there, Kevin.
That's exactly what's going on. Let me do this. I'm going to hide the video panel, because sometimes the video panel, I'm glad you spoke up. Thanks, Nash. So I'm going to hide the video panel. Boom. How's that? That better?
It's still there. It disappeared. Oh, there it goes. There.
All right, I'm on top. All right, guys. Welcome to this training. I got a little feedback.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. How is that? Is that better?
Yes, sir. You're good.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Somebody was recording me. So, hey, welcome everyone to the Inviting Formula. This is going to be a short, brief, short, sweet, hard to beat training on what I do on a daily when it comes down to, and I do two types of ways of inviting. Because as you know, I do live dials, and live dials is a little bit different formula when it comes down to the process of qualifying and walking them through get them to an actual presentation. But what I'm going to do is to keep it simple, because I know a lot of you are not doing live dials. I'm going to just stick with the basics of what we've been taught to do when it comes down to inviting. Inviting is a gateway skill. It's one of the skills I want you guys to understand. It's one of the skills, literally, if you become a professional inviter, this is a six-figure skill easily if you just learn how to become a professional inviter. Okay. And whoever's a co-host, if you could keep inviting people into the Zoom, because I don't want this. My controls are going to keep popping up every time somebody comes in, and I want the screen to be hidden. So again, it's a six-figure skill. So if you can learn and master this and get good and consistent at inviting, guys, you can literally write your own checks. Okay. So the name of this training I've labeled the inviting formula. Okay. And real quickly, here's why this is so important. The objectives of this training, I got several objectives I would like to clarify in this training, okay? Number one, training is useless unless you get into action mode, okay? So we're going to get into action mode. We're going to define what a proper invitation consists of. Also, I want you guys to understand the proper guidelines for follow-up, rapport building. That's very, very important, okay? I want you guys to have clear expectations, okay? What to expect if you do this consistently. And at the same token, also, the main thing I want you to understand that confidence, that confidence is key, because, you don't want to be a lame duck type of inviter when it comes down to, hey, can you take a look at my business? If you want to, that's not how we invite, okay? So let's do these objectives and successfully. At the end of this presentation, also, we're gonna have some live Q&A, so you guys can shoot any questions you have at me. Okay. Number one, action mode. Nothing happens, people, unless you make it happen. Common sense, right? Newton's law of motion states that an object at rest will stay at rest, but an object in motion will stay in motion unless acted on by an unbalanced force. What are some of those forces? What are some of those obstacles and things that get in our way? Number one, distractions. Okay. 2, lack of focus. 3, procrastination. 4, just plain lazy. 5, fear. Okay. These are the things that could prevent people from taking action, because most everybody wants to build a business that's on this call. I would hope and expect that you're on here because you want to build a business, right? But you got to get out of your own way. Okay. A mentor that I had years ago taught me that, your personal growth and development, that's going to basically be determined by how much you make in this industry. Okay. And so the number one thing standing in your way is you. You're the one that has to make this happen. Nobody's going to do it for you. Nobody's going to come to your rescue. You have to make this happen. So get rid of distractions, get focused, stop procrastinating, just get up out, don't be lazy, turn the TV off. Okay. And, don't be afraid, because what's the worst going to happen? I've never invited somebody to take a look at this business and they try to kidnap me and throw me in the back of a trunk. That's never happened. Okay. So let's drill. I was in the Navy for a period of time, and we had these drills, and drills, to me, I hated them. Tell you the truth. It was every day, over and over, repetition, repetition, repetition. Jim Rohn taught that repetition is the mother of all skill. Okay. So drilling, that's how you go from good to great. Okay. So I want to challenge you guys, 5 invites per week. Are you doing that? Or are you doing 5 invites per day? If you're doing 5 invites per week, if you're doing only 5 invites per week, you're going to be here to the cows come home. Okay. And they're probably never coming home. Okay. So start drilling. Practice is what makes perfect. With activity comes results. Okay. You can have average skill in inviting. You can have an average skill. I mean, you can basically literally suck at it. Okay. But you have a strong drive, and you can still win. Okay. So how have we been taught how to invite? Okay. Here's how most of us, all of us, in fact, have been taught to invite this way. Hey, John Doe, do you have a couple of minutes? Yes. I'm reaching out to you for a reason, but how's everything going? And then you skip right over that. And you say, hey, I saw something that made a lot of sense to me. I need you to check this out. Do you have 4 minutes right now? And you skipped, and this is kind of like extensive over the top training because I'm going to give you guys what I do, okay? Because you're missing part 1 and part 2 of the invite. If no baby gets up out of the crib and goes to running and it hasn't learned how to scoot yet, okay? For those that have kids, baby learns how to lift his head up first, you know, and then it learns how to turn over, and you got to keep it off the edge of the bed, otherwise it'll hit the floor, you know. And then at the same token, you know, the baby doesn't go from crawling to running. It learns how to walk first. Well, if you skip part 1 and part 2, which is very, very, very important in the invitation process, remember this is called the inviting formula, right? That formula, you just basically I don't know what you did. You just threw something in the oven, you push, you know, you set the timer, and then you walked away and you don't know how much time it needs to bake. You don't know anything. You basically just good luck, whatever you get come out of the oven, okay? The inviting formula has 2 parts before the invite, okay? That's the greeting, which is what that says right there, but how is everything going, okay? The greeting is where you identify and qualify the person that you're talking to. You can't just go right into, hey, I got something you got to take a look at. You got 4 minutes right now. You can't just go right into that. You can't do that, okay? Because if you go right into that, what happens is your prospect is going to look at you like you're crazy. What just happened? It's called the bait and switch, okay? It's disingenuous, it's creepy, it's scripted, first of all, because, I mean, who hasn't been pitched about a network marketing business or an opportunity? Or who hasn't been pitched about, hey, I got something you have to take a look at. You know, you got a couple of minutes right now. Most everybody out there, they know what's happening, you see, and it's salesy, you know, and that's why you don't get people to show up. That's why you get people to flake on you. That's why you get people that don't return your phone calls, because they know what's happening and nobody likes to be bait and switched, right? And so, first of all, learn how to greet properly. Talk about them. In the back office of your 7K website under training, there is very, very, professional training on a formula called FORM. Family, occupation, recreation, message, okay? Form. You have to form. In the greeting process, talk about them, because everybody loves to talk about themselves. Everybody loves to talk about themselves. What's going on in their business? What's going on in their life? What's going on in their family? What's going on the job? What's going on everywhere you look? What's going on with inflation? You strike up a conversation, okay, in that greeting. When you talk to people, when you call them up out of the blue, if you haven't heard from somebody or haven't talked with them in, 3 or 4 months, and you call them up and say, hey, John, how's it going? And they say, yeah, it's going good. Who is this? Because that's probably going to say they haven't heard from you in 3 months, right? Who is this? Hey, this is Kevin. Hey, what's going on, Kevin? What's going on? That's usually what happens, right? What's going on? Yeah, hey, I'm just calling, man. I heard from you in a while. Listen, I was just touching base with you. How you been doing? And you try to, how you been doing? And then the conversation, however it leads to, you go, listen, I'm reaching out to you for a reason. I got something you got to take a look at. It made a lot of sense to me. And John's on the other line, and he's like, okay, this is the reason why he reached out to me. Right or wrong, okay? So be genuinely interested in them. You have to qualify people before you invite, okay? You qualify by finding out what their wants are, what their needs are, what their desires are as it pertains to your business. If they don't have a need or desire, or if they're not properly qualified, don't invite. That simple.
Tom Big Al Schreider here.
Listen to this.
The following is a live recording from a workshop I did in Dallas with Jerry DeRino Clark. So this is a unique group of people, isn't it? These are people with no lives that take Valentine's Day off. Well, let's get started with, I bet everybody came here to kind of learn the inside deal, how things really work. Yep. And if you want to learn how things really work, you're probably going to have to give up how you think things work right now. Because if you continue to think and do the stuff you're doing right now, what's the eventual result? And did anybody come here to have similar results? Probably not. So let's take a look how things are. How many people here sell some nutritional products? All right, how many people here sell some services like utilities, electricity? How many people here sell some skincare? How many people here don't know what you sell? Well, I'm going to give you an example, and you tell me if this is real life. You sell electricity. You come over to somebody's home, and you sit down with them. And do the people in that house want to pay more for their electricity or less? Less, okay. And would they like more money in their life or less money in their life? More. And you just happen to be there offering a plan where they can buy electricity for less. And you just happen to be there offering a plan where they can have more money in their life. And at the end of the presentation, they say, no. Let's review. They want to pay less for electricity. They want more money. You offer electricity for less and a chance to make money, and they say no. Does that strike anybody here as strange? But let's say you sell travel. And you're at their house, and would they like to travel the world more and pay less? Yeah. Want more money in their life? Yeah. You offer that, they can travel the world more and pay less, and you offer more money, and at the end of the presentation they say no. Do people want more health in their life or less health? More money or less money? Anybody picking up a trend here? Yeah. We sit down and we talk to these people, and they make stupid, idiotic, poor choices. They're practically insane. How could they possibly think like this? Would you agree with me? Yeah. How many people here went away saying, how could they think like this? And let me explain exactly how that works. They're not thinking. They are totally not thinking. So we do this great job. We explain every detail. We prove it to them. We have testimonials. We have endorsements from people we gave money to say good things about us. We have everything. And they say no. And do you think this happens to your distributors that are home today? Absolutely. So would you like to know why that happens? So what we're going to do is jump over to skill number 17. How many people here have been to the workshop where we taught super closing? Okay, so but my popularity is underwhelming. Got it. In super closing, we teach a little bit about how the mind works. And the battlefield is what? 6 inches between the ears or 7 inches between the ears if you're thick-skulled. But that's where the battlefield is. So let me define 2 terms, and then I'll show you something that's pretty weird. How many people here are familiar with the conscious mind? The conscious mind is the one you're thinking with right now. It's the smart one. It's the intelligent one. It thinks things out. You observe the world. You interact with the world. How many people here have a conscious mind? All right, we're all using it, aren't we? Now, the conscious mind in our brains is roughly the size of a pea, like a green pea. Y'all have it? And that's the part we think with, interact, etc. Now, what's the other part of our mind called? Subconscious mind, unconscious mind. Let's say subconscious mind. Now, that's the part of the brain that kind of holds all of our memories. Maybe holds all our beliefs, things that we picked up in the past, all our programs we got from our school teachers and parents. Keeps track of a lot of our experiences, what happened. And it takes care of all of our bodily functions, time for the heart to beat again, all the automatic stuff we don't have to worry about. Oh, let's get rid of that cell there and kick up the immune system over here. Oh, time for the heart to beat again. Anyway, it's a pretty busy dude. Has lots of stuff to do. And the subconscious mind is roughly the size of this building. Now, here's my question to you. What part of the mind do you think runs your life? For those of you that are not sure, let me review. Let me give you a hint. All right, here's the hint. P. Building. The subconscious mind runs your life.
Most people are focused on themselves, okay? And let me ask you guys a question, okay? That first invite I did, or this invite, you tell me which invite is better. Remember what I told you, greet and qualify. How about you do it this way? Hey, listen, John, hey, listen. John, you remember how you told me you wanted to be able to spend more time with your kids? Or you remember, John, you told me how you mentioned you didn't like your job? Hey, this man may not be something for you, but I saw something that made a lot of sense to me, and I just need you to check it out. Do you have a few minutes right now? Does that sound a little better? Because people are focused on what they want. People are focused on what they desire, what they need. If you just change just a little bit, just a little tweak there with the way that you invite, I promise you, you would get better results, okay? And remember this, okay? If a person understands about finances, inflation, don't send them an inflation video. Don't embarrass yourself like that, because you're basically downplaying and you're making them look like they're stupid, okay? That's just my personal opinion. You can do it how you want, but I'm just telling you what I do, okay? And what I do is work. It works. Okay. This is the reason why over and over again I was able to sign up, 1, 2, even 3 people doing that contest every single week, because the way that I invite is a little different than what we've been taught. So don't send an inflation video if they understand about inflation or if they understand about finances. Okay. Second, send the wealth strategy presentation and call them back in 30 minutes. When you invite like that and you tell them, do you have a few minutes? Okay. But notice I didn't say, do you have 4 minutes? Okay. I say, do you have a few minutes right now? If they have a few minutes right now, you send the wealth strategy presentation and you say, listen, John, I'm gonna call you back in 30 minutes. Okay. If they don't have 30 minutes, you invite them to Zoom right then and there. If they don't have 30 minutes, you got to set an appointment. Okay. Do not set an appointment. Okay. If they're going to watch it right now. But if they do not have time to watch it right now, I'm trying to make this as clear as I can. If they do not have time to watch it right then and there, then you set an appointment, but you have to do it with urgency. Okay. There's no urgency in tomorrow. There's no urgency into next Saturday. You have to do it with urgency. Okay. So again, if they do not have time right now, then you set an appointment. Okay. You set an appointment like this. Okay. That's fine. Listen, tell me, when can we get together for a few minutes? Okay. You mentioned that you want to be able to, boom, right back to what they said they wanted to do. Okay. You want to be able to vacation more. You want to be able to spend more time with your children. Okay. And I may have something that would help you to do that. What works best for you? This is how I book an appointment. Okay. What works best for you? Morning, afternoon, or evening? Morning. Okay, great. What time works best in the morning? 8:30. And I got a 10 o'clock. What's going to work best? 8:30 or 10 o'clock. I said it like that. I give them options. People love options. That's the reason why the same meat in the store is made by the same companies, but they have different labels on it. It's all the same. I promise you that. Okay. So give people options. Okay. That way they feel like they're not being backed into the trailer. Okay. Because that's how you put a cow in the trailer. For those of you that have been on a farm, you have to back it in. If you try to go in head first, it's not going. Okay. Get a system when filling your pipeline. I use index cards. I use index cards like you wouldn't believe. Every single day when I'm prospecting, I got a system of index cards. I write their name. I write what time I called them. I write the number down. Like this person, for example, last night, Africa, Emily did me a great service of jumping on a Zoom with me to do a Zoom 3-way last night. Her name was Africa Chopin. She's from New York, New York. Called her, talked to her yesterday. Follow up is supposed to be next on the 4th of May. She's trying to get the money together. So she's a applying specialist. I write the notes down. She's got a sales background. She saw the full presentation. He did a Zoom with Emily. She didn't have the money. She requested to start next week. And that's why she gets her ducks in a row. So those are the notes that I got. When I call her back, I did set that appointment for next week on the 4th. As soon as at 5 o'clock, I wrote that time. What time works best for you? Evening. Okay. I got, 5 o'clock and I got 9 o'clock. What's going to work best? You can give me a call at 5. Boom. I put it down. Okay. Okay. I'm going to give you a call at 5. Hey, if anything comes up, if anything happens, if the sky falls, whatever happens, do me a favor, Africa. Can you let me know in advance if you're not going to make it? I'm looking forward to working with you. And I just solidify, you just call it a tie down. I tie down and lock in that appointment. That, if you just do those little simple steps, that will just dramatically increase your rates of no-shows, okay? In my system, Jane Doe, first exposure. I write this down on the index card. First exposure, I write down, boom, what we do on the first exposure. We schedule a Zoom appointment, okay? John Doe, final exposure. I got 1, 2, 3 steps, okay? It's the first exposure, the second exposure follow-up, the third exposure, I need a decision, okay? On that final exposure, set the start on May, just like I did with Africa. Set the start on May when I'm gonna call her back, when she's gonna get started. Joe, not today, because she's gonna get some people to look at this, and they're not operating with a full deck of cards, so they see it. They know about inflation. Yeah, I'm not doing anything to protect myself, but I'm not ready. So they jumped on the Zoom and they didn't even show up. Okay. Call back in a week, build rapport. This is where that follow-up is very important, because this is about invitation and follow-up. So you want to learn what I do? This is what I do. I follow up. I continue to drip on them, build up rapport, establish a relationship, because like I said, a lot of the people that I talk to, they're cold market. Okay. And a lot of people that have warm market, if you have not talked to them in a couple of months, they're your cold market. They're not your warm market. They may know you, but they don't know you, if you get what I'm saying. Okay. Sue sometimes, not interested means not now. Okay. A no just means not now. Timing is everything in this business. Okay. You need to learn that. So get referrals, reach out in 90 days, build rapport. I had a guy yesterday. He told me, he said, yeah, I'm not interested. I say, oh, that's great. Good to hear. Thanks for letting me know. Listen, who do you know that maybe this might be something that would be a fit for them? Okay. If you could do me a favor, Chad, and just give me like 3 or 4 names of somebody and give me a good compliment about them and just shoot it over to me, man, I much appreciate it. Who do you know that, this may be a fit for, since it's not good for you? Okay. He goes, yeah, I could do that. I say, do me a favor, give me a compliment, each name, 3 or 4 names, like I said, and write down a compliment, and just shoot it to me over in an email, or you could text it to me. And when you do that, I'm gonna reach out to them, let them know what great thing you said about them, that you introduced me to them, and that I had something that you looked at and you thought it might be a fit for them. So that's how I do that. And when I reach out to them, I let Chad know yesterday. I said, listen, and not only that, but hey, after if something comes out of it, I'll reach back out to you, let you know. And what I'm hoping to do from that is, if I reach out to one of these people that he gave me the list of, their names and numbers, and I reach out to them and they're ready to get started, and they're ready, they're really interested in what's going on, I'm gonna reach back out to Chad and say, hey, you remember this guy you gave me? Yeah, they're getting started. That's how I do that. Okay. Inviting, you can invite 3 ways. Okay. Recordings are least effective, in my opinion. Okay. Recordings are least effective because you don't have their attention. You don't know if they're paying attention to it. Basically, people, even with the 7K Wealth Strategy app that we have, people could click on the link and they could fast forward past the video, and that's happened many times with me. People fast forward and it says they watched 17 minutes of it, and then you calling them up and they're saying, well, how do I get started? Well, if you watch the video, you know how to get started, right? Live Zoom presentations are more effective. Okay, that's inviting somebody to a live Zoom presentation that we do every evening, 7:30 most of the time. And then the private Zoom slideshow presentation is the most effective, that I believe, because you actually can interact with that prospect while they're live on the Zoom with you. Okay, preliminaries. When you're inviting, always reach out prior to your sponsor or other leaders to ensure availability. The worst thing that can happen to you is you have somebody looking at the presentation, looking at the information, and then you call them back in 25, 30 minutes, and then you get them on the phone and you say, hey, did you watch that? What'd you like about what you saw? And they say, yeah, I loved it, man. So looks good. Okay, great. Yeah, I liked it too. Where do you go from there? Make sure that you have somebody that's on standby that you can reach out to. Okay. And it's just simple as this. I got somebody you got to meet. I don't ask, hey, do you want to meet somebody? I don't say, give me 1 second, I'm gonna get you on the phone with somebody. I don't say none of that. I say, I got somebody you want to meet. Click, and I click over. And while they're waiting, I come back on the line and I say, hey, listen, such and such, this is such and such, such and such, this is such and such. Listen, they looked at the information, yada, 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 and I break it down and I introduce them and I build up, I build up credibility and rapport with that prospect as far as who I'm introducing them to, because I'm not just going to put them on the phone with anybody. I want to make sure that they understand that the person I'm putting them on the phone with has credibility, has seen success, can answer their questions, very, very recognizable and respectable in what we're doing. And, I build up that person that I'm getting them on the phone with, and then I just zip my lips and be quiet, and I let them take over the call. So remember, 1, 2, and 3, the greeting, the qualifying, and the invite. Once that's done, your sponsor is going to handle your objections. Your sponsor is going to do the call to action. Your sponsor is going to do the follow-up as far as, what other steps, if they need more information, they're going to do all that. Okay. But always make sure that you do this part. Confirm your appointments 30 minutes or 1 hour prior to that scheduled time. If you have a follow-up appointment, always confirm. You'll get less people not showing up if you do that. Okay. You want to anticipate a yes, but be prepared also for a no. Clear expectations. Here are the expectations. And I talk to a lot of people on a daily when it comes down to the system I have in place. The clear inspections is this. Remember, as we started out, getting into action mode, the number of invites per week that you're doing versus the number of invites per day. Okay. There's this thing called the law of averages. Okay. A law of averages is simply defined as this: outcome probability influenced by everyday consistency over the long term means that the possible outcome of an activity repeated will produce specific results. In layman's term, basically what that means is the more you do something, the better you get. Okay. And so if you're talking to 5 people a week, 5 out of 10, this is the law of averages. Okay. And that's just being basic, just being average. 5 out of 10 people are going to be interested. Okay. 1 to 2 people out of 10, you're going to be able to sponsor. But if you're talking to 5 people per week, 0. You got a big fat goose egg. You're not signing up nobody. I promise you that. I know what your check looks like, because you're not signing up anybody. You have to increase your numbers. This is a numbers game. People don't spend $10,000, $20,000 putting up a billboard just as passive to get people to drive by the billboard and hope that they get some business. We got the most cost-effective tool as far as a marketing budget in the whole entire profession of business. And that's just open your mouth, invite, okay? Increase your numbers. Objective second, one of the other objectives was understanding proper guidelines for follow-up and rapport building. Proper follow-up is key, okay? Because 80% of sales require an average of 5 follow-ups in order to close the deal, okay? However, only 44, that's almost half of sales reps follow up with a prospect only once before giving up, okay? Is this you? Because if you're not following up with people, once a person has been invited, they've seen the presentation, and then after they've seen the presentation, there's a call to action, and they're not ready to get started, continue to follow up, build up that rapport, build up that relationship, continue to show interest in them, continue to learn more about them as far as how this business can help them. And I promise you, when the time is right, I got people I've signed up weeks and even months later, you see, that literally I continue to follow up and I built up that relationship with them, okay? After just 4 follow-ups, 94, look at that, 94% of salespeople have given up. And I love it because guess what? I'm going to get those people you gave up on. Objective, understanding that confidence is key. Nobody wants to join a wishy-washy, don't know where they're going, not focused, not really sure about themselves type of person. So you have to be confident. The only thing that produces confidence, and congratulations if you made it this far because we're wrapping it up, is action, okay? Getting into action mode. When I was back in the Navy, they made me the recruit chief pet officer, and I couldn't even swim. I told this story on one of the Growth Club one time. I couldn't swim. And unless you know it or not, nobody can stay in the Navy unless they can swim. You can't stay in the Navy, right? And so they lined up everybody around this Olympic-sized pool, and then we, started stepping up. And as the closer and closer I got to the edge of that water, I started getting scared. It was cold. I was in my, skivvies, and I'm, just scared, right? Because I know I can't swim, right? I grew up in Southside Chicago. They didn't have no pools around there, and the pool that we did have, they got shut down because people were shooting up the park. But anyway. The thing is, when I got closer and I jumped. I took action. Even though I knew I couldn't swim, I jumped in the water. And guess what? You know the results. I went right to the bottom. They called me a rock, okay? And when they called me a rock, they threw the line out there and pulled me out of the water. And I went over there and I'm shivering and I'm shaking. And I went to the side and they said, all the rocks, get over there. And I was so embarrassed and so mad and so hurt and just kicking myself in the butt. And not only that, but I was just flustered because I didn't want to get kicked out the Navy. They give you a general discharge if you can't swim. You got to be able to swim, right? And so it was kind of a miracle in a sense. And I love telling this story because when everybody started leaving the gym, and they had all the rocks over there, the company commander came over to me and he said, hey, come here. I want you to learn how to swim, okay? Everybody left the gym. And it was just me, the company commander, and the swim instructor there. And do you not know that he told me, I'm going to teach you what you need to do. And he said, first of all, you need to learn how to float first. Okay. The best way to learn how to float is lay on your back. And so everybody left the gym and everybody in the company is looking at me like, what are they doing with Kevin? Right. And so anyway, long story short, I literally, followed his guide, followed his instructions, did exactly what he told me to do. I laid down in the water. And even though I was still scared, that confidence that he had in me, because sometimes here's a key. And this is a nugget right here I'm going to give you. Sometimes you have to believe in people long enough for them to believe in themselves, you see. And by him having that confidence in me, it developed in me confidence, okay? And so I laid down in the water, flat on my back, and I floated for 5 minutes from one edge of the pool all the way to the other, just floating, just standing. And he walked, as I swam down, to the other end of the pool, he literally right there, bending down, talking to me, coaching me, telling me, you got this, you got it. And all the way when I heard these words, you passed. When he said you passed, confidence just welled up in me, and I turned over and I swam all the legs of the pool and I qualified as second-class swimmer. What I understand is this: invite as many people as possible to a presentation, a recording, or a live Zoom as you can. Okay, that's your mission this week. Okay, notice where things go bad. Drill some more. Repeat until you see the results. Nothing else creates the confidence that you desire except results. You're not going to get the results if you don't do the activity, okay? Results come from repetition. It comes with repetition. You have to let yourself be bad for a while you get good, okay? And if you just try easing into it, that's going to be a long, difficult, strenuous It's going to be a task, okay? You can't gradually get good, okay? That's very difficult to do. So the best way to learn how to do this is to just do it, okay? Remember this too, as I close. You have the gift, okay? When giving away a gift, there's never any reluctancy, fear, intimidation, or skepticism involved. Give the gift by genuinely being, number one, interested in helping people, okay? And you'll be on the road to success of knowing how to invite properly. Appreciate you guys for taking time out to look at this presentation. I want to show you just one more thing as I wrap this up. Let me stop this real quick and exit. 1 second. I want to show you guys just one more thing as I mentioned a couple of things, and I'm gonna real quick, let me go back here again. Sorry about that. I'm gonna share one more thing, okay? Excuse me. Inside your back office, I mentioned about form, family, occupation, recreation, message, right? Let me hide this real quick. Give me 1 second, guys. Appreciate your time, your patience. Right here in training. Excuse me. Go to your training if you have not done so, okay? This is where it's found. Inside your back office is training. All of these should have green checks, okay? We teach you to do the buyer certification and the collector certification, okay? But you want to just go above and beyond if you expect to have above and beyond business, okay? Inside here, there's something called the Business Builder Academy. This right here, if you see that, Business Builder Academy, that's where you're going to learn form, family, occupation, recreation, message. I promise you, if you learn this, you become very good. If you're not good right now, you become very good at inviting, okay? Because remember, you're greeting, and then you're qualifying, and then you're inviting. That is the inviting formula that I use. That Ryan Chamberlain course, I don't know, how much we pay for this, Emily? A couple of $100. This course right here.
Yeah, that was great training.
Great training. And the reason why I'm showing you this is because you saw all those checks right there. You see this? 100%, 100%, 100%, 75%, 85%, 100%, 100%. My question to you is showing you that is this. How much time have you spent learning this business? And you expect to make a 6-figure income? Who are you kidding? Okay. You wanted me to give you the truth? I'm giving you the truth today. Okay. The reason why I was on the leaderboard for so long is because, and I didn't have but 2 people that advanced. All of that activity, it was 750, 500, 750, 500, 750, 500. That was me personally recruiting. Okay. If I had other people advancing and doing what they should have been doing, I would have been up there, Shayla. You know, but the great thing about this business is if you are consistent, if you have that grit, and if you have that desire to do this, I promise you, we'll see you walking the stage. We'll see you getting rewarded. We'll see you getting recognized. And what gives me the most pleasure is seeing other people win. I want to see people win. If you become a professional inviter, and if you just do the things I told you to do, you too could be on the leaderboard. Back to you, Emily. Appreciate you.
Oh man, oh man, oh man. Who thought that was freaking awesome training? Drop in the chat and let Kevin know. Show him some love because I thought that was pretty darn amazing. I want to leave it for Q&A. So if you guys have got some questions now, I have seen Kevin in action as far as like closing. You know, I have been honored to get on closing calls with some of these guys here. And I hear their passion, their enthusiasm, and then just that hunger, you know. So, and if someone wants to just like unmute and share what they got out of it, we can do round robin too. So I know Layla's over there texting me and sharing some stuff too. So feel free to unmute. I know Nash, grateful for him as well. You know, I'm doing coaching calls a weekly now with Kevin and Nash. Every Saturdays, in fact, we've been doing coaching calls. And so, I mean, these guys are amazing. I learned from them as much as I feel like they learned from me, and they've been quite a blessing in so many ways. And I'm excited to be able to have them on here. So anybody want to share, unmute what they got? I got a bunch of notes, you guys. I hope you guys took notes too. I did record this. So you can have the replay later. I know some of you may not have been able to hear the video, the recording part of that Kevin had, but it'll be in a YouTube channel, so you'll be able to hear the replay, and that way you can hear like that portion of the recording. Yeah.
Also, and let me put into the chat where to find that recording, because that was only like 5 minutes of the recording. Let me real quick, let me drop into the chat.
Perfect. Thank you, Kev.
And you can listen to, it's called Magic Words for Prospecting, Part 1 and Part 2 by Tom Big Al Schreider, a legend in the industry. And here's the link right here.
He's
There
like a Jim Rohn.
Yeah.
Guys, yeah, so there's the link there. I'll pull it up and we can drop it in the Telegram groups as well. But guys, I want you to pay attention. Did you see how Kevin has like all these trainings that he's done and checked off, right? But not only did he do the trainings, he's actually applying those trainings. And I have to say, I have to commend him, because a lot of times what we do is we use our time, we don't use our time wisely. But I tell you, Kevin, why don't you share with them, and I want you guys to pay attention. Kevin, share with them what your daily and weekly routine looks like. Seriously, for real.
Thank you, Em. Yeah, weekly. I mean, I worked literally this past week. I worked over 52 hours this past week, and I'm up every morning at 4:00 a.m. on the dot every morning, Monday through Friday. Okay, and mind you, I'm a single father. I got 3 girls I've been taking care of for the last 4.5 years. They've been living with me. In fact, they're in the other room right now. And my youngest daughter came in here, and you couldn't see her while I was training, but she was like. Because she's ready to eat. Like, what are you gonna do? You gonna order a pizza, or what are you gonna do? You gonna cook something? What you gonna do, right? And so every single evening, okay, I devote at least 2 to 3 hours, okay? Because why in the world will I work 50 hours in a week and not devote a couple of hours at least to this business? Doesn't make any sense. If I want to replace a full-time income, I got to at least give a part-time effort, okay? And I tell people all the time, you can do this business part-time, but you can't do this business sometime. It's a business, okay? Not a hobby. Businesses pay, hobbies cost, right? And so every single day, I'm getting back on the phone, I'm following up. Like I said, I use index cards. I got like literally like 2,000 index cards. And here, I'm gonna show you. I got index cards literally every day where, if you can see that, I got what I'm going to do for that day. I plan my day ahead, okay? Who I'm going to follow up with, what step they're in as far as, the first invite, the second invite, the final call. I actually have a text message, a scripted text that I send out to people when I'm letting them go, and I can't count the number of times after I tell them goodbye, they give me an excuse of why they, and they actually text me back and call me back. And they're trying to be like, okay, don't let me go though, because people, people are kind of funny, people are kind of comical, and so every evening while I'm doing that, I'm making sure that I have my day planned. You see, Walmart, Home Depot, no business only runs Sunday and Tuesday, okay? Or we're only, our hours of operation is Wednesday between 4 and 6, and Saturday we may get on a call, we may not get on a call. No business runs like that. You're out of business before you even got started. So you have to have a structured, that's why I said systems are so important. You have to have a sense of accountability to yourself, okay? When it comes down to running this business. 40 hours a week is a lot when you work in a full-time job, but at least give it, 15, 20, at least give it 15, 20, and make sure that those are income producing activities. You're not going to make any money, listening to, do that while you fall asleep, do that while you're in your car, turn your car into, your mobile university, that's what I do every morning when I'm getting up. I'm listening to, motivational calls. I'm listening to some type of training on the way to work. I'm not wasting no part of my time doing the whole day, because we all on the planet, there's 8 billion people on the planet, right? We got 24 hours, every last one of us, okay? So the problem is not, I don't have time. The problem is you're not managing your time, okay? Back to you, Em.
That's great. And so the trainings, guys, this is why, like the trainings, we try to do it like, I had I think it was Andy, and I think it was Maureen. Both of them asked me the question, how come you have your growth clubs like at 6 o'clock in the morning, Hawaii time? And I said, because the rest of the day should be used to build your business. Trainings are not the times to be utilized during the daytime, right? Or at least not try not to, right? Not to say that you shouldn't, but most of that time should be dedicated towards actually taking action. And the training should be done like either early in the morning or late at night when everybody's sleeping, right? When you're ready to go to bed. You know, I mean, shoot, I used to like just have my computer on and I would just like listen, you know, on my headsets while I was like doing stuff, you know what I mean? So you can kind of do some of those things too. And then Kevin, so from the time you invite, I know you have those cards. And so you invite, so invite once, right?
Right.
You get them on a Zoom. So walk them through the process of how you vet them through the process. Because some will fall through, right? And you say goodbye, and then some will actually move forward. So explain how that happens for you.
Okay. From the initial invite, and remember there's, you know, Zoom, a recorded Zoom, okay, a recorded presentation, the Zoom, or a live one-on-one, okay. After that process, okay, if they have not, and I can't count the number of times too that I've actually did it just that one time, is very rare. They saw it for the first time, here's my credit card, let's get started. Very rare. But during that process, remember
before you move forward, I want you to listen to what he just said. I hope you paid attention. It is very rare that on that very first call that people sign up. So if you were like me and you had that phone call and you signed up on the spot, I'm weird. Okay. And there's a few of you who are weird. So it's not normal. Okay. So move forward.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Em. And so after they actually have seen the presentation, okay, the next thing is make sure that you don't leave that call without setting up a follow-up call. Okay. You want to make sure that there's a call to action. Like if they need more information, I may send the founder's video. I may send Y7K, you know, I may send testimonials or something like that that's found inside the Wealth Strategy app. Okay. And then I also got a callback. Okay. I've set a callback appointment because I want to gather a decision. I tell people nothing becomes definite until it becomes specific. And so we have to have something to shoot for. When would you like to get started? If money is a problem, you tell me when. If you need to talk to your spouse, when can we get together with your spouse and all three of us get on the call? Okay, because I want them to see what you saw, but at the same token, I don't want you answering any questions about it because you don't know anything about it to answer the questions successfully, and I don't want them getting stumbled or, you know, tripping up along the way. Okay, if this is something that you're on a scale of 1 to 10, a 7 or 8, welcome to the team. What questions can I answer for you to help you just decide right now? And as we're going through that process, I have follow-up. 1, that initial invite. Number 2 is call to action. If they're not ready to sign up right then and there, it's a call to action and it's let's launch your business. Okay. I'm going to go immediately start reaching out. Who do you know that if you were involved right now today and you already were a member with 7K, who would you reach out to? You see? And I want to tap into that list because I promise you, if they give me that list, I'm going to start reaching out to those people. And as I start reaching out to those people, I'm going to let them know, hey, listen, your business is taking off because such and such and such and such that you told me that you would be sharing this with, they're ready to get started. And they saw what I do a presentation for them like they came off a lead for me, you see? And then when I do that, it's always, you know, reaching back, you know, you're starting from point A and then you go to B and C and then you go back to point A, okay? Because at the end of the day, we don't make anything until we gather some points, right? And so we get paid in points. And so it's either going to be a person getting signed up, whether it's a premium or a standard, doesn't matter. We're still going to work with you the same. Okay. And then at the same token, you make sure that while you're following up, you continue to build that rapport, continue to establish that relationship, and always close with call to actions. You don't want ever say, you don't ever want a person to take a look at this business and then, you know, yeah, looks good. And then you don't have any time set to follow back up with them. Okay. That's very, very important.
So have an appointment set after the appointment that you just finished. Make sure like there's a follow-up. So like he said earlier, hey, okay, she's not ready to get started, not because she doesn't want to, she doesn't have the funds. So her funds will happen on this date, May 4th. May the 4th be with you, right? So then, so on May 4th, may the 4th be with you. So on May 4th, he put it on his calendar, right? They're going to meet and they're going to follow up to help her get enrolled. And this is where some people miss, right? Like they go, oh yeah, they're going to start on payday. Well, when's payday? Oh, I don't know. I'm like, how do you not know? Like, I mean, like figuring out like when's payday? Like what date is payday for these people? Is it this Friday or next Friday? You know what I mean? Like most people like bi-weekly, right? Which by the way, that's a plus for 7K because like you can get paid weekly, you can make a decision. Go ahead, Kevin.
And I was going to add in there, you just brought up another important point too, because sometimes you're going to call them on that day and they still don't have the funds. Imagine that.
Yep.
Right.
No kidding, right?
And so when they don't have the funds, you say, well, listen, that's when you go and you tap into who would you share this with? Okay. Give me the names of a couple of people that we could share this with right now, that we could start building your business while you get the funds together. Okay. And then I do it like that. I tap through their warm market that they know. Okay. Yep. And then when you do that, I guarantee you, once you find somebody that's ready to get started and you reach back out to that person, they'll come up with the money. Okay. They will come up with the money. I promise you that. Okay. But at some point in time, as you're following through and tapping through, you could gather a lot of referrals just doing that process. But at the same token, guess what? The next week or the week after, you have people like that they don't have the money. That's when you know to let people go. And then you just send people, hey, it's not going to work in our favor to be working with you. I'm very sorry. Apologize. I hope you find what you're looking for. I wish you well. And, I'll touch base with you in 30, 60, 90 days. And good luck to you. Bye.
Okay, so listen to what Kevin just said. That is a position of confidence, right? Because he's just like, man, it's just probably not going to work for us, right? Because if you're going to have to drag them to the start line, you're going to have to drag them to the finish line. And so it's not like, oh, sorry, see you later, Gator. But it's kind of like, okay, maybe this partnership isn't going to work. Maybe the timing isn't right. Let me follow up with you in the next 30, 60, 90 days. Right. And so we don't get hung up on that. We don't keep following up with them like every single week for the last 3 months, right? I mean, because you're just wasting your time. So go get their network. Go say, hey, you know what? Give me 3 to 5 names where you can give me a referral. Work on that list. If you happen to have somebody that out of those 3 to 5 names that decide they want to join, go back to the person. Be like, hey, you know what? Thank you so much for the referrals. Exactly. I just want to let you know that Kevin decided he wants to go ahead and get started, but I wanted to give you the courtesy of letting you know first, to give you that opportunity that if you happen to have the funds now for you to get started before I enroll this person, let them think for a little bit and marinate on that thought. And maybe they will join, maybe they won't. Either way, you gave them the option, and then you feel not, you know what I mean? Like you feel like you gave them the option to still sign up. Right. So really powerful.
And a good one is, do you want them in your business or do you want them in my business?
Correct. Yeah. Do you want them in yours or do you want them in mine? Either way. So example, Kevin, we had that call with that lady that her husband was in the military and she was like yawning. It was like in New York. It was like late her time, right? I was still on fire. Right. But so what happened at closing, Kevin?
At closing, I had a call to action. It was okay, we need to set up an appointment to where we all 3 can get on a Zoom and I can share what you just
let's backtrack. So explain what happened. She said she wanted her
She wanted her husband. Yes, backtrack. We did a presentation. I did a presentation. Emily jumped on there, and then Emily did the Q&A at the end of the call. And as we were walking through it, and she was tired. I understand she works. She's in, background in mortgage and, sales and been on her feet all day. And she's on call to make it even worse, right? And so her husband is out in California. He's in the military. And so after the presentation and everything, she goes, yeah, I'm interested. I'm about an 8. But I need my husband to take a look at it. He makes all the decisions as far as that's concerned. He's really the finance guy when it comes down to stuff like this. I say, okay, cool. So here's what we can do. Let me send you my calendar, okay? And we can set up an appointment to where all 3 of us could get on a call and I could share with him exactly what you saw. Very important. I don't want you telling him about this business. I don't want you sharing with him about this business. I don't want you answering any questions about this business. Give us the courtesy to show him what you saw, okay? When can we do that? Oh, just send me your calendar. And I sent her a calendar so she can set an appointment. After the appointment is set, then we follow back up and all 3 of us get on the call. The problem is he's not really, because I guess whatever's going on with him being stationed, I did talk with her again as far as being able to do that, but she's trying to coordinate their schedule because she's in I forget which state she's in, but he's in
East
California.
Coast, though, yeah.
Yeah, they're in different states, right? And so they're trying to work out their schedules to where her schedule is hectic, is on call, and then his schedule, whatever he's got going on. And so that's really what you want to do. You want to make sure that you follow up and set an appointment. If a person sees this for the first time and then they have a spouse, because that's called the spousal objection, right? Because a lot of times people don't want to tell you no, they want to use their spouse as the scapegoat, right? And so, yeah, my significant other says no, and then you ask them, what did they see? They ain't seen nothing, so how can you say no to what you haven't seen, and a lot of times you fall into that. So just make sure that if they're serious, they will show up, but make sure that they don't explain the business. They don't, hey, watch this video. They don't know how to invite, and make sure that, they don't answer any questions about it because they don't know. You want to make sure that you stay in the forefront as the authority in inviting and showing this presentation too.
Yeah. So as soon as she said, hey, I want to talk to my husband, what was the first thing I said? Right. I was like, oh, well, then we got to make sure.
Right. Exactly.
You don't explain this business.
Hit the brakes.
You just heard it. So if you explain it, the
brakes.
answer will probably be no. Isn't that what I told her?
Exactly.
I said, if you explain it, the answer will probably be no, because I don't know that you're going to be able to answer the questions that he has. He's going to have all these questions. So we just want to make sure we honor him and you by making sure he sees the same information the way you saw it.
Exactly.
Right. So we do the same thing. We repeat the presentation for the spouse.
Right. Exactly.
Don't present for the spouse, or don't let the spouse present for the spouse. I'm going to tell you, it's a guaranteed no right there. Like 99.9%.
Exactly.
So if you get the no and you wonder why, that's exactly why, because very low percentages where that happens, where the spouse says yes. If you have the spouse who just heard it, explain it. Yeah, not going to happen.
We got any questions did we get any questions in the chat at all?
Yeah, I didn't see any questions on the chat. They were just like chiming, going, yeah.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
So we're at the top of the hour. We got 1 minute, but if you guys, ever want to have any Q&A, let us know. But we're gonna close it here so we can honor your time and give you your time back. But so grateful, Kevin, for your knowledge and sharing your training and putting those slides together. I was not expecting that.
Hey, I learned from the best.
I was like, oh, he got slides. Look at that.
I only got to see it one time.
Hey, and real quick, I just want to thank Kevin. You hit a few buttons again for myself. I mean, I am busy. I do work and all that. I know what it's like to be super tired and just get in the mode of like not doing anything. But I heard it. I told Emily, I heard a couple things this past week, and you reiterated a couple things and one was the index cards and the follow-up. I did that years ago, and Karen did that on a training just this last week with Coffee with Curtis, and you just mentioned that again. Is going back to that is the fortunes in the follow-up, all of that. And then the second thing is Curtis reminded me, Tim reminded me, and you just reminded me, whatever time you have, Layla, you need to make it work. If it's 6 to 10 at night, 6 to 10 at night is 7K. And I totally get that. And it's time to, get off my butt and do it. And I have. I mean, I have a new team that I worked with, a new person, but it's just like you said, five a week ain't going to do it. Awesome. You guys, 5 a day. That's where it's going to happen. So thank you so much for that, for kicking me again. But I look forward to seeing you in New Orleans.
Yes, indeed. Look forward to seeing you as well. I appreciate you so much. Thank you.
That was awesome. Thanks, guys. Love you all. We'll see you next week. Next week, it'll be Traylene and it'll be Kamaka teaching on how to create like social media. So if you guys are like into social media, you guys, that's what's next week. So hop on, put it on your calendar, and we'll see you then. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Awesome. Love you guys. Aloha.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Okay, guys. Aloha.
Thank you.
Bye.